Hi, welcome back to the channel. This week we're looking at Dialect from Sugar Bytes. And Dialect is essentially a 8-channel groovebox. On the main page here we can see the 8 tracks. We have a chord track, a synth track, bass, there's a multi-synth, there's a slicer, a cymbal track, a snare, and a kick. And obviously if we enter some notes like so, then we can start building up our track. Now what I would like, instead of this track architecture being fixed, so we have, like I said, the 8 different track types, I would like to be able to mix this up a bit. So for example, rather than have, let's say, a slicer track, I'd like to have perhaps 2 cymbal tracks. But having said that, there is a bit of a workaround, which I'll get to in a moment. But now if we look at each of the individual engines, if we go to the synth tab and ignore everything in the far left where it says tune, and everything from the right from filter onwards, and then just focus on this middle left section here. And this is where you determine the synth engine. And that varies depending on which track you have chosen. So for the chord track, we get a sync oscillator, a super oscillator, 3D oscillator, resonator, choir, an organ, FM, wavetable, and also ROM, which has quite a few amazing sounding samples here. But then if we move on to the synth engine, a few of these repeated, like I said, but here we also get resonator, monster, and then dust. On bass, we get a sine, FM, and AM, organic, and talkie. In addition, obviously, to the repeated ones I mentioned earlier. On the multi-synth, the new ones here are clap, the ring mod drum, and FM. Slicer is as you'd expect. You take a loop and then you mash it up based on these slicers. Cymbal, we have here several types of noise generators essentially. And then snare, here the new ones are organic, synthetic, and ring mod snare. And on kick, we have organic 2, synthetic and naturalistic. So between those different types of synth engines, quite some flexibility. Now I did say at the beginning that I would like the ability to mix and match these different track types, and I did also say there's a workaround, but it's hardly a workaround because it's basically the core functionality is designed this way. So let's put a note in every step. Let's go over to the mixer tab and then we'll solo this cymbal. So let's design one that we like. Let's ensure we have pattern on for a start. There we go, quite like the vintage kit. Now if we flick over to step, and then we'll click on the third note here, and then currently this is on sample 9. Let's change this to sample 10. So I just changed that up a little bit, so I have the majority of the samples on sample 2, but then on the offbeat I have it changing to sample 3 for the open hat there. So essentially what I've done is create different states for each different step. So let's take this one step further. We can, let's say on the first open hat, we want the decay to be opened, and then on the second one, let's turn it down. Should actually be this one, sorry. And then here, let's turn this one up. And then this one, let's turn this down. Let's have a listen to this. We can also do the same with the cutoff. Let's turn this down on these two. Let's go back and turn our kick on now. Let's now, on our synth track, let's utilize the randomization functions, which is Sugar Bytes' party piece in everything they do. So we're going to randomize the gates, and then let's randomize the parameters also. Let's have a listen. We need to make sure that we have this up in the mixer. Let's choose wavetable maybe. That's working, I think. Let's go now to our chord track. Once again, why not we randomize the gates? Maybe vocal. Let's have a listen here. No, I think let's go back to the ROM, and then here, let's go Cabinet Roads perhaps. Onto our snare track. Let's put something in here. Wrong one, whoops. Such a fun little thing, and I'm clearly getting distracted, so let's move on. Let's go across to the effects section now. I'm going to draw in some effects. So let's go... the looper perhaps. Let's put the stop in at the end here. And the delay, let's put that in here. And then a bit of high pass and reverb, let's put that in the last 4. Let's draw these instead. Once again, getting carried away, sorry. And let's just add some bass to finish it off. Let's go to our synth bass. Currently on sine FM AM, that is fine. Let's put something in just like this perhaps. Honestly, I think that sounds good as is, not much more to do. So there we are, Dialect from Sugar Bytes. Really cool, fun little tool. These guys always put out quality stuff. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.